Hello there. Welcome to the Gadget Tube. Today I'm going to be talking about micro four thirds lenses, especially for video use. So if you just picked yourself up a nice new GH5 or you've just grabbed a nice bargain GH4, then stick around and I'll tell you what's best. Shall we? So I thought it necessary to don the video gear review suit for this task. And first up, we're going to talk about zoom lenses. If we're going to talk about the one lens to buy for your video use of a GH5 or even GH4, then it's got to be the 12 to 35mm f2.8. So the nice thing about this lens is for video it's got a continuous aperture of f2.8 throughout the zoom range, and of course it's got image stabilization, which is especially useful if you've got a GH4 and still useful if you've got a GH5. Now a new version of this lens has just come out, and that means that the older versions, the version 1s like this one, are a little bit cheaper. You can see prices in used and new condition. Another worthy mention, which I have previously owned, is the 12 to 40mm Olympus. The nice thing about this is it has a proper click down manual focus ring and an extra bit of zoom on the telephoto end, although it does lack image stabilization, which is why I ended up going for the 12 to 35mm Panasonic. Now, I know what you're thinking, these sound quite expensive lenses, and they are because they're really useful. They are the one lens that you can get that can cover a wide lens, a telephoto, a portrait shot. It can get you all these things without having to shell out for multiple lenses, so it would be the first lens I recommend you get. However, if you don't have the budget for it, and maybe have just a smaller Panasonic or Olympus Micro Four Thirds camera, you might want to look at this. This is the 12 to 32mm, and I have been using it so far in this video. I've just switched and put the 12 to 35mm on. The nice thing about this is it has a similar range. It's f3.5 to 5.6, so it's not a continuous aperture. However, it is a lot cheaper. One thing to note about this lens, however, apart from its weird tromboning when you open it, is it doesn't have a proper manual focus ring. So if you want to do manual focus, you have to use the touchscreen, and it's all horrible and fiddly and not really intended for video use. 12 to 35 f2.8 does have a bigger brother, the 35 to 100 f2.8. Now that is a gorgeous lens, but it is also about £1,000, and to be honest, I don't use telephoto lenses enough on my GH4 to really warrant spending that much money. I wanted something that was compact and I could just throw in my bag with my bigger 12 to 35mm lens, and that is the 35 to 100. The nice thing about this is because it comes in a lot of kits, it gets sold basically new on eBay. I picked this one up for about 120 quid, and it's a lovely range, and it has a proper manual focus unlike the 12 to 32. Now zoom lenses are incredibly useful for video, but you will want some prime lenses, especially if you're doing a lot of sit-down interview shots, and this is where my two favourite primes come in, the Panasonic 20mm and the Olympus 45. Starting with the Panasonic, it's got a 1.7 aperture, so it makes some lovely blown out backgrounds or bokeh, and it's a great interview lens because it's equivalent to about 40mm on a full frame camera. Good thing to note is this is version 1. There has been a second version, a lot like the 12 to 35mm lens, so you can get the older version quite cheap second-hand. Another portraiture lens that is well regarded is the Olympus 45mm 1.8. This is a gorgeous lens. It has a lovely knocked out background effect, and because it's 45mm you get even blurrier backgrounds than the f1.7 20mm Panasonic. Now a couple of worthy mentions from the fisheye category. I have previously owned the Samyang 7.5mm, and that is an amazing lens, lovely build and lovely lens. However, it is about £200, and for the very occasional use of a fisheye lens I couldn't quite justify keeping it. However, I do have a couple of budget alternatives that you could just throw in your bag and forget about. First of all is the Olympus Body Cat lens. This is a great lens because look how small it is. It's basically the size of a body cap, hence the name. It's a 9mm f8 fisheye. Now the only problem with this is it's a fixed aperture, so you're stuck at f8, and it does only have a couple of focusing modes from infinity to a kind of macro close-up version. Another alternative, and probably a little bit better than the Olympus, is the f3.8 8mm fisheye lens. These are available all over eBay. I think originally they were CCTV mount, C-mount lenses, but they've been permanently converted to a Micro Four Thirds mount. Although that lens is 8mm, the same as the Olympus, I find it's much wider and gets in a lot more of a kind of fisheye effect, whereas the Olympus is only just kind of semi-fisheye. Personally, if I need to go ultra wide, I go between either a fisheye lens or the 12-35. However, Panasonic make a couple of lovely lenses which are probably very useful for vloggers. That is the 7-14mm and their new 8-18mm. I have used the 7-14mm, but I don't personally own either of these lenses, so I can't really speak from experience. Now I'm going to go get out of this extremely hot polyester suit and end this video, but if there's any questions you have about gear or lenses mentioned in this video, then don't be afraid to pop one in the comments, a question that is, and I'll see you in the next video.